What makes a Champions League final? 22 world-class players on the world's biggest stage. Legends against legends, football's greatest of all time squaring off against each other, and the biggest teams in the world fighting for one trophy. We've seen some brilliant finals and had to sit through some terrible games. But what Champions League finals did we, unfortunately, never get? Let's start with 2003. The two most successful Champions League teams have never faced each other in the final. And we were so close in 2003. The great Milan team secured their place in the final after defeating their rivals Inter on away goals. But the defending champs Real Madrid, with their shiny new Galacticos team, led 2-1 after the first leg going into Turin, but Juventus had other ideas. Goals from Trezeguet, Del Piero and Nedved were enough to bring the first all-Italian final. And the less said about the final, the better. Okay, next. The defenders against the pretenders. 2017, Real Madrid versus AS Monaco. In the last 2 years, Monaco were building a team of young superstars. Bernardo Silva, Fabinho, Benjamin Mendy, Thomas Lemar, and of course, Kylian Mbappe. They showed the world what they were about, with stunning displays against Manchester City and Borussia Dortmund to take them to the semi-finals. Madrid had already booked their place with a win over Atletico Madrid, but despite star forward Mbappe getting on the score sheet again, Monaco were no match for Juventus' European experience, missing out on what could have been something special. How about a revenge final? 2001, Leeds versus Bayern Munich. This revenge goes way back. Leeds fans felt their side were robbed of a European trophy when they lost to Bayern Munich in 1975, thanks to a very controversial refereeing performance. But 26 years later, and they have a chance at meeting once again. Leeds' young side had powered through the Champions League while playing Barcelona, Milan, Lazio, Real Madrid and Deportivo La Coruña. And with Bayern Munich waiting for them in the final, Leeds were unable to navigate through Valencia in the semi-finals. Instead, we got a final that went the distance, and Bayern Munich won their 4th Champions League. Okay, this one is for the Premier League fans. Imagine Manchester United versus Liverpool 2007. England's biggest rivalry on Europe's biggest stage. 2 years on from Istanbul and Liverpool were back, schooling Barcelona on their own patch, comfortably dispatching PSV in the quarters before knocking out Chelsea on penalties in the semi-finals. Man United knocked out Lille, handed Roma a 7-1 spanking at Old Trafford, and were 19 minutes away from a first final in 8 years, thanks to a 3-2 first leg win with star striker Wayne Rooney scoring a brace and Ronaldo grabbing the other. The return leg in Milan didn't go so well. The Rossoneri outplayed and outclassed the men from Manchester and would go on to get their revenge against Liverpool in the final in Athens. Gone in 30 seconds. 2019, Liverpool versus Ajax. It's no question these two were the most exciting teams to watch this season. Ajax's new age total football led by Erik ten Hag, with young stars of Frenkie de Jong, Hakim Ziyech, Donny van de Beek and Matthias de Ligt. They stunned the world and humiliated Real Madrid in the Bernabeu and Juventus in Turin. While Liverpool's all-out attack and gegenpressing designed by Jurgen Klopp with the likes of Mane, Salah, Firmino, Wijnaldum and Trent Alexander-Arnold. Liverpool blitzed through Porto and Bayern Munich before producing one of the greatest second-leg turnarounds in Champions League history against Barcelona. It was all set up for a Liverpool-Ajax final when in the second leg, Ajax held a 3-0 aggregate lead over Tottenham with 40 minutes to go. But Lucas Moura was reading a different script.
I cannot believe it! Lucas Moura with the last kick of the game!
With 2 goals in 5 minutes, then this with seconds to go. But we all know how that final went. Don't remind me. Okay, 2009, a Manchester United vs Chelsea rematch. There has never been back-to-back finals featuring the same two teams, and we were so close to having one in 2009. Alex Ferguson's Manchester United had just ripped Arsenal apart in the semi-finals to book themselves a place in Rome thanks to a special performance from Ronaldo in London. Then, Chelsea's Michael Essien scored this screamer to put them 1-0 up in a tie. But over the next 18 minutes, Chelsea were constantly denied stonewall penalties before and after Andres Iniesta hit a volley to send Barcelona into the Champions League final. A complete disgrace, isn't it, Drogba? In 2022, Manchester City and Liverpool were neck and neck at the top of the Premier League table and were both deep into the Champions League knockout stages. We were so close to having a Jurgen Klopp Liverpool and Pep Guardiola Manchester City final. Liverpool dealt with the challenge of Villarreal to reach the final in Paris, but in the other semi-final, Manchester City held a 5-3 aggregate lead going into the last minute of the tie. Until
Camavinga searching for Benzema, who hooks it in. It's Rodrigo. Carvajal. Scores! Look at another one. They've scored again. Champions League semi-final. Here comes Benzema. Side foots the ball in. The King of Madrid fires Real ahead on aggregate.
somehow, some way, we've never been able to witness an El Clasico Champions League final, even during the 9-year span in which both Messi and Ronaldo played for their respective sides. And we have 2 years in which we were so close. First, 2015. Barcelona had the formidable trio of Messi, Neymar and Suarez, who between them combined to score 122 goals across all competitions, along with the usual world-class midfield trio of Xavi, Iniesta and Busquets. Barcelona cruised to the final, despite playing English champions Man City, French champions PSG and German champions Bayern Munich. Real, on the other hand, avoided a mishap against Schalke, scraped past Atletico with an 88th minute winner in the second leg. And when they came up against Juve in the semis, it was a man who they let go that came back to haunt them.
Header back. It's Morata!
But in 2012, both Spanish giants fell at the semi-final stage. First, Barcelona, who were infamously put to the sword by a Chelsea side who were 2-1 down on aggregate and down to 10 men. Despite this, a Ramirez wonder goal and a 92nd minute equaliser from Fernando Torres sent Barcelona out. Then, Real Madrid hit the roadblock that were Bayern Munich. After both teams won 2-1 in the 90 minutes, Ronaldo and Kaká had both their spot kicks saved by Manuel Neuer before Sergio Ramos sent his spot kick into God knows where.